It's horrible really when you first get released.
I started off at Spurs at, well, under 16 level.
I was told by the manager, Alex Ferguson, that I wasn't going to be offered a contract after the end of the season.
Coming up to Christmas, they told us that I wasn't going to get a professional contract.
I got injured, I broke my ankle last year, November, which basically kind of killed my chances.
It was hard to take, like, but you just stay with it, don't you?
Unfortunately, we offered another player in your position a professional contract.
I had to look for other clubs and other options.
I didn't even know if I was going to get another club from that, really. I just thought that basically it was over.
I went on trials to other clubs and for a week and a few days here and there.
Lucky I was to get a chance here with Glenn Hoddle to work with him and a great coaching staff here.
It's a fair chance for me, so it's even more of a boot up the backside to do well.
It's only once really you've been released, you realise what you've learned, I think. And I think being here, we'll all realise where we went wrong, and this is another chance for us to get back in and do it properly this time and make sure it doesn't happen again.
It happens all over the world to hundreds of young footballers every year. You reach the age of 18 and your club tells you you're no longer required. The lifelong dream of becoming a professional seems to be over. This year, though, some of these players will get another chance at the Glenn Hoddle Academy in Spain.
Football was losing a lot of talent to the game purely because of the system. 18 was the decision time, and I think it's far too young. I've always thought that. And people mature differently and a little bit later. You take on the players that are stronger at that moment in time, and to go into the football world, you know, that's probably the right thing to do at that time. But I always felt, you know, a little bit more development for some of them. You wondered whether they would, you know, be able to make contracts and make it in the game.
The Glenn Hoddle Academy is the first of its kind, a football campus set up to help youngsters get their fledgling careers back on track after they've been released. Doors open for the first time this year to 24 players let go by English clubs, as Hoddle and his team of coaches, all former players in England's top division, share their knowledge of what's required to make it in the game.
As the ball goes in, you're going to move around there like that.
The goal is simple, to get these young players fulfilling their potential and back into football at as high a level as possible.
To a certain degree, we've got the opportunity to change people's lives. They've been discarded at one moment, and if we can turn them into players and watch them go off on their merry way in their careers, that would be a wonderful feeling for all the coaches, not just myself, and for everyone working at the academy. I said to these boys, you know, this is their academy as much as mine and the coaches. It's their vehicle for them to get back. If they work hard enough, you know, I'd love to see the first player back into football within 2 months, 3 months of here.
The academy is based at the Monte Castillo resort, just outside the city of Jerez in southern Spain. The facilities are excellent, and in the past it's welcomed several clubs, as well as the Spanish national team for training camps. Everything here benefits from the Mediterranean climate. As well as training, the academy play games so that the players can maintain match sharpness and impress any visiting scouts. But they aren't constrained by a league fixture list, and results are by no means the most important thing. They've been encouraging though, and when FIFA Futbol Mundial was in town, they put out a side that drew with Club Deportivo San Fernando in Spain's third level. But as it's an academy, not a club, everything is geared towards player development.
This is the problem in football. I've always looked at it as well as a manager and felt that our development time with players is not enough. That goes from first team players, but certainly younger players as well. There's matches and matches to be played. There's college to be fitted in when they're 17, 18. There's reserve matches. There's first team matches. Everyone's got to try and win a football match.
Professional club, you work on a team unit. You know, you've got good individuals in that unit that know their game. You can just enhance the game a little bit, but the majority of it is getting the team working as a unit. Here, we've initially got 11 individuals.
As a player, Hoddle wasn't the typical English midfielder. A creator more than a workhorse, his control, passing and vision made him stand out from the crowd in the 1980s. That style wasn't always appreciated in his homeland, but it was elsewhere, particularly in France, where he played for Monaco for 3.5 years. Michel Platini once said, had Hoddle been born French, he'd have won 150 caps instead of the 53 he accumulated in England colours.
I think maybe he hasn't had the plaudits he deserved. Certainly if you speak to anybody who's played against him, played with him, they realise what a talent he had. But because maybe he didn't do the British things, chasing about, tackling, winning headers, maybe people thought, well, he's not an all-round footballer, but when you see him play, you know, he was a genius.
Hoddle went on to manage in the Premier League and then his country, always encouraging his sides to play technical, passing football. For many players released by top clubs, the way they've been coached doesn't necessarily lend itself to the physicality they might face further down the English football pyramid.
There's quite a few of those players that we got quite high techniques. They're quite small at the moment, particularly, but some countries don't seem to bother, Spain being one. If they're technically good enough, they play them. Look at the Spanish national team, a wonderful footballing team, won the Euros, but playing technical football when the ball's on the floor.
Coming to the academy also represents a change in lifestyle for the players. For some, it's their first time living away from home, and being in another country means they can go for weeks without seeing friends or family. One advantage is that here they're free from many of the off-field distractions that can often affect young footballers. All live on site, and the players and coaches spend time together on and off the training pitch.
Any problems that they've got, they just come up and they can talk to us about it. Whereas at a football club, a lot of the times, the players leave as soon as the training's finished. They're off to their own lives, and you don't really get to know them so well. But we feel it's our duty really to be more than just football coaches, but to be there for them as people and help to bring them up.
Whilst the first intake of players all came from English clubs, Hoddle isn't focused on sending them only to the Premier League or Championship. Scouts from across Europe are being invited to take a look at the talent on show, and in future the Academy's doors may well be opened up to players from around the globe.
Whatever player, at the end of the day, that finds himself being neglected from a club or rejected from a club, if we feel that the potential's there, then we've got that opportunity to bring him in and see if we can improve him and see if we can give him that second chance. And I think that's what excites me about this, giving people a second chance at a young age.
Whether the Glenn Hoddle Academy becomes a success depends on a number of factors. Will teams take a chance on a player once overlooked? They have some sponsors and investors, but are looking for more, and long-term financial viability relies on clubs signing GHA graduates. Should this happen, Hoddle has plans for other academies to open elsewhere, but those kind of thoughts are for the future. For the present, all involved are focusing on the day when the first player enrolled at the Glenn Hoddle Academy makes it back into professional football.
I think that'd be what this is all about, to go, make sure I go to that game and sit, hopefully he'll get me a ticket. And it'll be a nice feeling for not just me. I mean, obviously it was my idea and I've put it together, but the coach, all the coaches and everyone involved here, it'll be a very proud day if we can achieve that. Let's hope it can happen quickly.